Alrighty, y'all. Well, we out here getting our walk done. A lot later than normal, though. Had to go to the frickin' DMV. Well, here in Massachusetts, they call it the RMV, the Registry of Motor Vehicles. Fucking clowns. But what a frickin' joke that is. So, go online, look up the paperwork and stuff I need to bring with me to get one of them real IDs. And so, bring everything, show up. They go, oh, do you have an appointment? No, I'm just here to freaking get an ID. And then they go, oh, well, we only do driver's license and IDs on appointments only. What? So literally you can show up here and do everything except get your actual ID and your driver's license. Unless you have an appointment. How the fuck does that make sense? Like, this is, a blue state that implements rules that says it's hard to get an ID in that case. Because they literally require you to go online to make the appointment. You can't even make the appointment in person. So, that means if you don't have access to the internet, you can never go to the registry and get an ID or a driver's license. How does that make sense? Make that make sense. That does not. But the blue states supposedly are the ones to make it the easiest. And that red states are the hardest to gain your identification, and that's why they can't do ID verified voting. It would seem to be the other way around. So that's pretty funny. But so I go outside. So not only can you not get your appointment while you're there, you also, if you do not have your appointment, cannot be inside of the DMV now. They're like, you have to go outside and use your phone to do your appointment if there is one available. So, stand outside, do the appointment thing, and at that time it was like 10:03. They had an appointment time for 11:10. So, I go ahead and do that. I go, okay, here you go. Here's my verified appointment for 11:10. They go, okay, you need to fill out this piece of paper, or the application form. Which that part's fine, that would be normal. But, you can't be inside the DMV until 15 minutes before your appointment. What? Like, who are these clowns making these rules? Like, so you're telling me all of these people in here have an appointment and or here for something that's not a license or an ID? Because there's probably about, I don't know, 50 people in there. Standing and sitting, they only have seating for about 30 people. So, that was the biggest joke that I've ever gotten while going to the DMV. And granted, I'm from California. My DMV used to be like a fucking 20,000 square foot warehouse building. And they literally had like 500 chairs sat in there. And 60 windows. They only ever had like 15 or 20 people working, but a billion freaking windows. Never needed an appointment. You could make one. And there, if you made an appointment, you were called up to the window like immediately if you had an appointment time. Here, even though I made that 11:10 appointment, they still didn't even call me to a window till 12:30. So what was the point of making the appointment if I still just have to sit there for another hour and 20 minutes? It just blows my mind on how inefficient these people make rules to make things even slower. It's crazy. Because, I mean, I understood, if I was going to the DMV when I was in California, and I'm showing up there like an hour after they open with no appointment, you're going to expect to sit there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I show up to this place and I sit there for 2.5 hours, and they made me make an appointment, which was crazy. So, but anyways, done ranting. We hit back yesterday. It's a little tender and tight. Feels very effective. Traps definitely sore, so just working those 185, 225, and then 245 for shrugs. Killer. I am definitely enjoying the pyramiding sets. So I think we are going to implement that to just about everything. The only thing we're probably not going to do that on is going to be bench press. I don't feel like I get the best effect out of pyramiding weight on the bench press like that. So, and I think squats. So the big three. The big three, we're probably not going to pyramid in that style. Like, we still pyramid up in weight, but we're not doing it for, sets of 8 to 12 for as heavy as we can get staying in that rep range. But everything else seems to just love that training. I enjoy it. It's pretty high intensity. You can make it fairly high paced. You don't need a crazy amount of rest. And it really pumps up the volume. Some of that volume is definitely junk volume, but again, I'm liking the pump I'm getting from it. So, killing it on that. That is definitely going to be the way we're going to do our training for the next probably 45 to 60 days at least. So, I'm going to enjoy the little switch up in intensity and style. And then probably going to start adding in a few other exercises, since we're just going to be doing pyramiding sets up and not a bunch of just flat sets. We'll be able to work through a movement and then just jump right into another one. So we're going to get a little training variety added into it as well. So that is going to be nice. But I'm out here on my walk. I'm going to get this thing finished up. I will see you guys in the gym for arms. So, it's arm day. We've gone ahead and started with a, I guess, preacher curl style variation of an easy curl bar cable curl. Man, my dog is really annoying me today. She just is losing her stuff. But, anyways. We started off at 20 pounds, then 30, 40, 50. Now we're at 60 pounds. So 50 was starting to feel a little heavy. We'll see how 60 feels. If we can get through a full set of 10 of these, we'll go ahead and we'll move up to 70. But we are working on pyramiding up our weights. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. Ooh. got for those. Not going to get any higher. Starting to feel a little tension in the elbow area right here. It doesn't hurt, it just feels tight. So that's definitely telling me, you're at your limits on this specific exercise at the moment, which is fine. I haven't been doing these like this, so that works out great. Now I'm gonna go ahead and figure out what I'm gonna do for my next bicep movement here that we're gonna go ahead and pyramid up in, and I'll bring you back for that. We gonna go ahead and do a inclined bench dumbbell curl in the neutral position, and so just gonna lay back on the bench, let your arms hang straight down, which is gonna put that bicep in a big stretch because it's coming up behind you, and then we're just gonna curl that thing. All right, there's 10 reps with the 15s. We'll go ahead and move to the 25s, which may or may not be a little heavy for this, but we're going to find out. If we can get through 10 reps per arm, we'll go ahead and move up to the 30s. Unfortunately, I don't have a set of 20s anymore, so gave them away a while ago, and because I never really used 20 pounds for anything. I normally just end up using my weight stack. But hey, I oddly enough found an exercise that I could use the 20s for. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and take care of my dog real fast, and then come back and hit these 25s, and we'll see how many reps we get. He's happy and appeased now. So now we're going to go ahead and knock out those dumbbell incline curls with 25s now, and see if we could hit 10 reps on each arm. Woo! That is heavy for those. So, nice thing is, feels extremely effective. Feel the big stretch. I can feel this bicep and this little tendon right here. It's the one that's being a little tender, but this arm, this bicep is much weaker than this bicep, so I'm expecting that. So we're working through like a side-to-side imbalance, and we're slowly going to get that fixed. So I can't push it too hard because obviously we don't want to injure it or tear it or something. But there is going to be a sense of discomfort in it till it starts to come back up and it gets used to actually moving a larger amount of weight. But that is okay. We can work with that. So the 25 is going to be definitely as high as I go on this movement, but I am going to hit this for a couple more sets. So we know we can go 15, 25 for now. Could probably do 30s with the way the fatigue feels. I could make that 5-pound jump, but I don't think the tendon in the bicep itself in my left arm will be very excited about that. So we're just going to err on the side of caution there. We'll hit this for a couple sets, and we'll go ahead and move on. More sets at the 25s. Then I switched over to doing rope curls now, which I started at 20 pounds. And then went 30, 40, 50. Now I've got 60 pounds on here for the last set. And let's go ahead and hit these things. We're shooting for at least 10 reps here. So. Boy, oh boy, the pump feeling crazy. So, I think kind of want to do one more bicep movement. I'm thinking I'll set up the pull-up bar and we'll grip it super close. We're going to work on just curling from above us. So it is going to work a little bit of lat, rear delt, but we're focusing on the curl aspect of it and really squeezing the biceps versus, say, just having the arm be a hook and allowing the lats and rear delt to pull the weight down. So, same mechanical movement, but applying two different forces. So, it's kind of cool how you can manipulate specific exercises like that, where they use multiple joints for a compound type movement, but you can change on which muscles you really want to focus and squeeze and contract the hardest on to make the movement occur. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a setup for those, then I'll bring you along for them. Doing these bicep curl pull downs. Started at 60 pounds. I've worked my way up to 110, which is what I have on the stack now. So this is going to be the last set of these. So let's go ahead and hit these things. So I've been trying to sit a little far back, so I get a big stretch here to start. Just squeeze the bench with my legs, and then just focus on the curl. I am feeling that. That feels super good to get a big stretch like that and then get the curl in. So, I guess it's not a big stretch, but the movement with the arms being so far up shortens the bicep so you can get a much tighter contraction. But it gets stretched and lengthened when you pull it back behind you and you do like those incline curls. So so this will be the stretch and you get a solid contraction. And then up here, you get to come into peak contraction because you get to make that muscle as short as possible. So 2 different ways of hitting the muscle, you're getting 2 very different feelings and stimulus out of it. So, but between those 2, you'll hit a full range of motion. I mean, really, if you can get the bicep to contract doing these and focus in on it, and then just do incline curls, you could do just those 2 exercises really and probably build a fairly decent arm, well, bicep. So, because you're going to work it through a full range of motion, and I mean, the incline curl, you could hit that with 3 different palm positions, whether you're, pronated, neutral, supinated. These you're going to hit supinated. I guess you could pull them neutral and try to focus the curl, but I really feel like if you try doing these anything but supinated, you're going to bring in just a lot of rear delt and lat. So I don't think you're going to get the curl contraction if you're not supinated. Maybe pronated, but definitely not in that neutral grip. So with that, we're going to go ahead and move into triceps now. So let me go ahead and get us set up on the first tricep movement, and we'll get this going. Alright, so we've, oh, you know what? I gotta see if that's in focus. We should change that a little bit. Like that. Alright, so we moved on to overhead tricep extensions. This is our first tricep movement. Started at 20 pounds. I've worked my way up to 70 here. So this is going to be our last set on these. 70 pounds. Whew. Oh yeah. Ugh. Ooh. Ooh. Them boys are on fire now. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I think we're gonna just move straight into tricep press downs, and I'll change the bar to the short triangle bar, I think is what I want to do. I think that'll feel pretty good. Maybe the easy curl bar. That way it's I can get a little wider out on it. So I'm gonna make a bar switch real fast. I'll drop the weight to probably like 50 pounds. So we'll go down 20 pounds and then I'll start working back up the stack. And then I'll bring you guys back for the last set on those. We started at 50 pounds. We've worked our way up to 90 now. So now, this will end up being our last set of these. We're shooting for 10 reps still. I can tell you the left elbow is definitely going to be tender tomorrow. That is for sure. But we got to get this thing built up. So the downside to, fixing an injured body part is definitely going to be moderate discomfort. Obviously, there should never be like pain, or should I say at least like severe pain. But tenderness, tightness, those are all things we're going to have to deal with. Oh! 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 Yeah! Oh! One more! Yeah! Woo! Boy, oh boy. The arms are gonna be tore up. 100% getting arm cramps tonight. But it is what it is. We want bigger arms. We just got to deal with it. So that is one of the things that, people who go to the gym, they're afraid to be sore. They're afraid they're going to get too big, too bulky. And I tell you what, there's a lot of people out there who try to get too big and too bulky. And if you're natural, good fucking luck. That's all I gotta say. If you got that mentality, you're just being a bitch. Straight out. So, you gotta come in, you gotta deal with the discomfort of heavy sets. You gotta deal with the discomfort of a big pump. You gotta deal with just being hot, sweaty. You gotta deal with the fact that the next day you're gonna wake up, you're gonna be sore, things are gonna be tender. You're going to feel tight, and you're going to have to stretch, and it's going to hurt. But if you want to make actual progress and not just, general fitness. So this doesn't apply to the people just trying to be like generally healthy. This applies to the people looking to like put on actual muscle and look fit. Not just, lose some weight and be healthy. This applies to the people who want to have an aesthetic look. This applies to the people who want to lift big, heavy fucking weights. They want to try to power lift, or they want to try to compete, or they just want to be in that top 10% of physical attractiveness, those are the people this is applied to. If you're just trying to be generally healthy and you're just going in and you're getting a workout in, and you know, occasionally you add a little more weight to the bar or to the cable stack or whatever, and you get an okay pump, and you might be, you know, a little sore maybe, or at least feel weakness in the muscle the next day, hey, you're doing great. You're doing way more than, you know, what, like 80% of the population's obese? So way to go. You're in the top 20. You should be proud of that. So that is, you know, a great thing to already be above average. So as long as you're showing up and you're putting some sort of work into it, you're going to be healthy in the long run. You know, unless you're going home and just smashing a whole like quart of freaking ice cream, and then, well, you know, you're throwing all of that exercise out the window. But if you want to be big, you want to look aesthetic, you can't have that mentality of, oh, you know, I'm afraid to add weight to the bar. Oh, this hurts. Oh, this sucks. Oh, it's going to affect how I walk tomorrow. All that's just excuses you're making up to not put in the work. So if you have previous injuries and you know you got to manipulate certain movements and work around that, that's one thing. But if you're working in non-injured body part and you still hold that mentality, that's why your physique hasn't changed. That's why you haven't lost that last 10 pounds you're trying to lose. That's why you haven't gained that last 5 pounds of muscle you're looking for. So it's all up here on what you're going to get. So just remember that. Only you can control how yourself feels and looks. So if you feel and look like shit, it's because you're putting shit into your body and you're working out like shit. So that's the only way it happens. If you take healthy food choices and make active, healthy fucking workouts and activities, then you're going to feel active and healthy. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. We don't need to be rocket scientists. So it's, don't eat the processed food that has 50 different chemicals on it that you can't pronounce. So, you know, if it's bread, make sure that bread says flour, egg, yeast, water. That's it. That's all it's got to have. That's what makes bread. You know, if you're having, like, I don't know, steak. When you purchase a thing of steak, it should say 100% beef. Make sure it doesn't say beef product. Because then that could be, you know, just a bunch of shit from China that's just ground up and mixed together that they say came from a cow, but probably didn't. Alright, so these are a version of Skull Crushers I like to throw in occasionally with the cable. And, oh, somebody let the dog back out again. But, so, started out at 10 pounds. Now we've got 30 on here. So I like to set my arm to where I'm basically looking like I'm at a curl. And that's going to be our start point. Ooh. 30 pounds is heavy on these. Boy, oh boy, 30 pounds, definitely the max. That feels very tight on the left arm.
So definitely at the point of, just about at the point of like, hey dummy, this is too heavy. But, so I went 10, 20, 30 on those. That's where we're going to end on them, being a single arm movement. So, with that, that finishes us up arm day today. We really nailed and focused the biceps. We got a lot of good volume in. We got a lot of good squeezing in. We got a couple heavy sets in. Then we moved into triceps. We got a lot of great volume there with squeezing. So arms feel pretty toast, pretty pumped up. So I'm gonna get on out of here, go do my evening cardio. So with that, make sure you guys are out there, you're getting your stuff done, you're working towards your goals. Most of all, just don't be a lazy fuck.